In the heart of the city, there lived a woman feared by many. Madam Oluchi. She had wealth that dripped from her fingers, power that silenced men twice her age, and secrets darker than midnight. They said she never married, never had children, but every year, she returned to the village to handpick young girls. Some called her a savior, others whispered she was a predator. No one truly knew the source of her riches, until Jennifer stepped into her mansion and discovered the price of a better life. In the land where poverty and wealth walk side by side, where a single decision can shape destiny, there lived a young girl whose beauty carried both blessings and curses. Her name was Jennifer. And this is the story of how she crossed paths with a woman the village only whispered about, a woman whose name brought both admiration and fear. Her name was Madam Oluchi. Jennifer was only 18, a flower not yet fully bloomed. She lived in a small, forgotten village in eastern Nigeria. Her father, once a hard-working farmer, had died suddenly, leaving behind a wife and 3 children. Jennifer, being the eldest, carried the weight of the family on her fragile shoulders. Her mother struggled to put food on the table. Sometimes, they went to bed with only water in their stomachs. Yet through hardship, Jennifer remained radiant. Her beauty was not just of the skin, it was a mixture of innocence, humility, and quiet strength. She had a best friend, a girl named Joanne. Joanne's family was not rich either, but better off than Jennifer's. She often gave Jennifer old clothes, shoes, and sometimes a little money. Their bond was strong, like sisters bound by fate. But fate had other plans. One hot afternoon, news swept through the village like harmattan fire. Madam Oluchi had arrived. No one knew much about her business in the city, but everyone knew one thing: she was rich. Richer than anyone else who had ever left their village. She always came in fine cars, with bodyguards, perfumes that filled the air, and clothes that shone brighter than silk. Some said she was into importation. Others whispered darker things, that she took girls from the village to the city and they never returned the same. But for families drowning in poverty, Madam Oluchi was a savior. That day, she came to Joanne's house. She had heard Joanne had finished secondary school and was looking for a girl to take back with her to Lagos. Joanne was excited, but her heart softened when she saw Jennifer's condition. She begged Madam Oluchi, "Auntie, please, take my friend too. Her family is suffering. She is hardworking, she won't disappoint you." Madam Oluchi studied Jennifer. Her sharp eyes, lined with coal, scanned the girl from head to toe. Jennifer was tall, with skin smooth as palm oil, and eyes that carried both sorrow and hope. "Fine girl. You will do well in the city." "Very well. I will speak to your mother." And so she did. Jennifer's mother, desperate for relief, agreed. After all, who was she to stand in the way of a better future for her daughter? Madam Oluchi promised to return in 2 days to pick the girls. And those 2 days were filled with dreams. Jennifer and Joanne packed their few belongings. They whispered to each other at night about what Lagos might look like: roads filled with cars, houses taller than trees, food without end. They were happy. Too happy to notice the shadows behind Madam Oluchi's smile. 2 days later, Madam Oluchi returned in her black SUV. The entire village gathered to watch the departure. Some were envious, others hopeful. Jennifer hugged her mother tightly, tears in both their eyes. "Remember who you are, my daughter. Do not forget home," Jennifer promised. The journey to Lagos was long, but their eyes stayed glued to the windows. The tarred roads, the tall buildings, the endless lights, it was everything they had dreamed of, and more. Finally, they arrived at Madam Oluchi's mansion. The gates alone were bigger than their entire village compound. The house was painted white and gold, with marble floors that reflected their faces. Jennifer and Joanne stood frozen, unable to believe such a place existed. Joanne said, "Jenny, can you believe this?" Jennifer shook her head, her eyes wide. "It's like paradise." "But paradise, my child, is often the first step to hell." Inside the mansion, the girls were dazed by chandeliers, soft carpets, and the aroma of foreign perfumes. Madam Oluchi introduced them to a few other young girls who lived there. Some looked happy, some looked broken. At first, life seemed beautiful. They were given new clothes, expensive creams, delicious food, and soft beds to sleep on. Jennifer felt like she was finally living the life she had only seen in magazines. But slowly, cracks began to show. They were not allowed to go out. They were watched at all times. And late at night, strange men often visited Madam Oluchi's mansion. Jennifer noticed some of the older girls leaving with the men and returning with haunted eyes. One night, she whispered to Joanne, "Something is not right here." Joanne frowned. "Shush, don't say that. Maybe this is just how the city is. Let's be patient." But patience would not protect them. But soon, the rules began. No phone calls home. No stepping outside without permission. No speaking back to Madam Oluchi. And most terrifying of all, no questions about the men who visited at night. Jennifer's heart grew uneasy. One evening, she asked one of the older girls, a tall, slim girl named Ngozi, "Sister, why are we not allowed to go outside?" Ngozi's eyes darkened. She leaned close, her voice low. "Don't ask too many questions. Just do what Madam says, and you will survive." The word survive struck Jennifer's chest like a spear. That same night, Madam Oluchi gathered all the girls in the living room. She stood tall in her flowing red gown, gold jewelry shining under the chandelier. Her eyes scanned them like a hawk searching for prey. "This house is your home now. But remember, nothing in this life is free. I feed you. I clothe you. I protect you. In return, you must obey me without question. If you betray me, the city will eat you alive." Her voice was soft, but the silence that followed was heavy with fear. Jennifer's lips trembled, but she said nothing. Joanne, however, smiled nervously, nodding as if Madam Oluchi's words were gospel. One night, a wealthy man arrived in a black jeep. His laughter filled the mansion before he even stepped in. Madam Oluchi called Jennifer and Joanne into her private room. "Tonight, one of you will accompany my guest. You will make him happy. In return, you will be rewarded with more money than your family has ever seen." Jennifer's blood ran cold. "Auntie, no. I cannot, please." But Joanne's eyes glittered. Poverty had hardened her heart in ways Jennifer did not yet understand. "I can go." Madam Oluchi's smile widened. "Good girl. Very good girl." And so Joanne left with the man. Jennifer sat in her room, tears streaming down her cheeks, her heart pounding with confusion and fear. The next morning, Joanne returned with a new phone, a bundle of cash, and eyes that no longer looked innocent. Jennifer rushed to her. "Joanne, what happened? What did they do to you?" Joanne avoided her gaze. "Don't ask me, Jennifer. Just know that this is how the world works. If you want to escape poverty, you must pay the price." Jennifer froze. "But this is not freedom. This is slavery." Joanne turned sharply, her voice colder than ice. "Then stay poor. Stay hungry. But don't get in my way." From that day, Joanne began to change. She spent more time with Madam Oluchi, laughing with her, following her instructions without complaint. And slowly, she began to look at Jennifer differently. No longer as a sister, but as a rival. Weeks passed. Jennifer resisted every attempt by Madam Oluchi to push her into the arms of strange men. But Madam Oluchi was patient. She knew beauty like Jennifer's was rare, a jewel that could fetch millions if polished correctly. One afternoon, she invited Jennifer into her private lounge. The room smelled of expensive wine and burning incense. She handed Jennifer a glass of juice and spoke gently. "My dear, why are you fighting your blessing? Do you know how many girls would kill to have your face, your body? You could own cars, houses, travel the world. All you have to do is obey me." Jennifer's hands shook as she held the glass. "I want a better life, Auntie, but not this way." Madam Oluchi's smile faded. Her eyes turned sharp, like a blade unsheathed. "Then maybe you are not ready for the city. Maybe you are not ready for life at all." Jennifer's heart skipped a beat. That day, Jennifer realized the truth. She was not a guest in Madam Oluchi's mansion. She was a prisoner. A prisoner of wealth. A prisoner of greed. A prisoner of betrayal yet to come. One evening, Madam Oluchi summoned Jennifer into her gold-plated sitting room. The air smelled of foreign wine and candle wax. She looked at Jennifer with eyes sharp enough to pierce bone. "Tonight, you will go with one of my special clients. He is young, handsome, and rich. His name is Brian. If you refuse me again, you will regret it." Jennifer's heart sank. She had resisted for weeks. But this time, Madam Oluchi's tone was different, deadly, final. Jennifer swallowed hard and nodded silently, her soul trembling. That night, she was taken to Brian's mansion. The gates opened to reveal a palace brighter than daylight, with fountains that sang and walls covered in climbing flowers. When Brian opened the door, Jennifer's heart skipped. He was tall, fair-skinned, with sharp features and eyes that seemed both tired and kind. But Jennifer did not see a savior, she saw another trap. She fell to her knees immediately. "Please, sir. I beg you, don't touch me. I did not come here by choice. I am a prisoner in Madam Oluchi's house. She is using me. Please, have mercy." Brian froze. No girl had ever spoken to him like this. Most came painted with smiles, ready to play a role. But this one, she was trembling like a bird in a hunter's hand. He slowly helped her to her feet. "Calm down, tell me everything." And Jennifer poured out her heart. She told him about her poor village, her widowed mother, her siblings. She spoke of Joanne, of Madam Oluchi's mansion, of the nights filled with strange men and broken souls. Brian's face frowned as he listened. So this is what she does with these girls. Brian was the only son of wealthy parents. They pressured him day and night to marry, but he resisted. To him, every girl only wanted his money. He had never seen sincerity, never tasted truth. Until that night. He looked at Jennifer, her face wet with tears, her voice raw with honesty. "You will not go back to her, not the same way you came. From tonight, I will protect you." Jennifer gasped. "No, sir, if you refuse Madam Oluchi, she will come for me. She will destroy me. Please. I cannot survive her wrath." But Brian smiled faintly. "Let her try. My house is not hers. My life is not hers. From now on, you are safe with me." And so it began. From that night, Brian insisted on seeing only Jennifer. Whenever Madam Oluchi sent girls, he would reject them. "If it is not Jennifer, don't bother sending anyone." At first, Madam Oluchi was suspicious. But Jennifer always returned untouched, and Brian paid her generously. She believed he had simply developed a preference. But what she did not know was that inside Brian's mansion, a forbidden seed was growing. Jennifer would sit with Brian for hours, telling him about her dreams. She wanted to return to school, to study, to become someone her mother would be proud of. And Brian, for the first time in his life, listened to someone without suspicion. He admired her strength, her innocence, her refusal to be corrupted. One evening, he touched her hand gently. "You are not like the others. You don't want my money, you want your future. Jennifer, you are different." Jennifer's heart fluttered, but fear still lingered. "And if Madam Oluchi finds out?" Brian smiled faintly. "Then let her find out." But Madam Oluchi was no fool. One night, she instructed one of her bodyguards to wait outside Brian's mansion after dropping Jennifer. "Follow her. Watch them. I want to know what is happening." The bodyguard returned with reports. Jennifer and Brian spent hours together, talking, laughing. He never touched any other girl. He wanted only her. When Madam Oluchi heard this, she smiled. But her smile was dangerous. "Ah, so that is how it is. Let them play their game. I am patient. Very patient." She acted ignorant, pretending to be pleased whenever Brian requested Jennifer. But inside her mind, she was already planning. Months passed. One afternoon, Brian asked Jennifer, "What do you want to do with your life? Not what Madam wants. What do you want?" Jennifer's eyes lit up for the first time in years. "I want to go back to school. I want to finish my education. That has always been my dream." Brian nodded. Within weeks, Jennifer was enrolled in a prestigious university. Madam Oluchi pretended to be supportive. "My dear, I am happy for you. Study well. Make us proud. But behind that smile, her heart was burning. Years passed. Jennifer flourished in school. She studied hard, avoiding temptation, staying true to her humble roots. Brian supported her every step, paying her fees, buying her books, shielding her from Madam Oluchi's claws. When Jennifer finally graduated, she wept tears of joy. You gave me back my life. How can I ever repay you? Brian held her hand. Just be happy. That is enough for me. Soon after, he suggested she travel abroad for her master's degree. Jennifer's joy overflowed. She hugged him tightly, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. And Madam Oluchi smiled once again. But this smile was darker than before. While Jennifer was abroad, Brian continued his life in Lagos. But Madam Oluchi was not idle. She called Joanne to her private room one evening. Joanne, listen to me. You are the only one who obeys me without question. Jennifer is not a good girl. She has forgotten where she came from. She thinks she is better than us. But you are loyal. And for that, I will reward you. Joanne's heart raced. For years she had lived in Jennifer's shadow, watching her receive Brian's love and attention. Now, Madam Oluchi's words poured into her ears like honey. Yes, Auntie. Tell me what to do. Madam Oluchi leaned closer, her eyes glinting. You will take Jennifer's place. Brian will belong to you. At first, Joanne tried to seduce Brian with her beauty. She dressed in revealing clothes, smiled sweetly, and lingered near him whenever Madam Oluchi arranged meetings. But Brian's heart was firm. Stay away from me, Joanne. I am not interested. This rejection burned Joanne's pride like hot coal. She returned to Madam Oluchi in tears. He doesn't want me, Auntie. He only sees Jennifer. Madam Oluchi stroked her chin, her eyes darkening. Then we will use another way. If his eyes will not open by choice, they will open by force. The very next night, she took Joanne deep into the outskirts of Lagos, to a hidden shrine. An old herbalist greeted them, his voice rough, his eyes clouded with secrets. Ah, Madam Oluchi, you have come again. What heart do you wish me to bend this time? Madam Oluchi smirked. The heart of a rich man named Brian. He belongs to my girl, Joanne, now. And under the red glow of candles, the herbalist prepared a charm. A concoction of blood, oil, and whispered incantations. He handed Joanne a small vial. Add this to his drink. His soul will forget Jennifer. His love will burn only for you. And so, the trap was set. Days later, Joanne served Brian a glass of wine. At first, he refused. But she insisted, smiling innocently. He drank. And slowly, his eyes softened. His heart shifted. The next week, he called Joanne more often. He listened to her. He even laughed at her jokes. And one evening, when Jennifer was still abroad, Brian took Joanne's hand. Maybe I was wrong about you. Maybe, you are not like the others. Joanne's lips curved into a triumphant smile. The charm had worked. Jennifer's world was about to crumble. And so the heart that once beat only for Jennifer began to turn, not by choice, but by the dark hands of betrayal. Madam Oluchi had played her game well, but little did she know that love built on deceit can never stand forever. 2 years later, Jennifer returned from the UK. She had finished her master's degree in business administration. Her smile was brighter, her walk more confident. She looked like a woman reborn. Brian was the first person she longed to see. She rushed to his mansion, her heart pounding with excitement. But when she arrived, something felt wrong. The guards at the gate hesitated before letting her in. Inside, the walls seemed colder, the flowers less vibrant. And then she saw him. Brian. But not the Brian she had left behind. His eyes were distant, his laughter forced. And beside him, sitting comfortably on the couch, was Joanne. Jennifer froze. Brian. Joanne, what is this? Brian stood awkwardly, scratching his neck. Jennifer, things have changed. While you were away, Joanne was here for me. She understands me. Jennifer's lips quivered, her heart cracking into 1,000 pieces. She looked at Joanne, who smiled wickedly, her eyes shining with victory. "Ah, my sister, welcome back. You've been away too long. Things in Lagos move fast, you know." That night, Jennifer cried until her eyes swelled. She couldn't understand. How could Brian, the man who had promised her everything, turn so quickly? She begged him the next day, holding his hand desperately. "Brian, it's me. Jennifer. Don't you remember all we shared? Don't you remember my dreams, my pain, my heart? Please, this isn't you." Brian pulled his hand away gently, but firmly. I don't know, Jennifer. It's like, my heart has shifted. Joanne feels right to me now. Maybe you and I were not meant to be." Jennifer collapsed to the floor, sobbing. Joanne stood nearby, her lips curled in a smug smile. "You see, Jennifer, you were never the chosen one. Madam Oluchi was right. You don't belong in this world. But fate has a way of unveiling hidden things." One evening, Brian's mother visited him. She had noticed his strange behavior, his sudden affection for Joanne. She confronted him. "Brian, my son, this girl Joanne, she has done something to you. This is not love. This is enchantment. I know it. Open your eyes." Brian brushed her off, but her words planted a seed of doubt. Later that night, he had a strange dream. He saw himself drinking wine, but the wine turned black in his cup. He saw Joanne laughing with Madam Oluchi in a shrine. And he saw Jennifer weeping, chained in darkness. He woke up trembling, sweat covering his skin. What is happening to me?" A week later, Brian fell terribly ill. His body grew weak, his mind clouded. Doctors could not explain it. In his feverish state, he called for Jennifer. "Jennifer, forgive me, something is wrong with me. I don't know why my heart betrayed you." Jennifer rushed to his side, tears streaming. She prayed for him day and night, refusing to leave his bedside. One night, as she prayed, Brian convulsed violently, and from his mouth, he vomited a thick black liquid that smelled of blood and herbs. His eyes cleared. His mind returned. He looked at Jennifer, truly seeing her for the first time in years. "My God, what have I done? Jennifer, they bewitched me. Joanne, Madam Oluchi, they stole my heart from you. Please, forgive me." Jennifer wept, holding him tightly. "I never stopped loving you. Never." When Joanne learned that Brian had recovered, she stormed into his mansion, furious. "Brian, why are you ignoring me? After everything I did for you?" Brian stood tall, his eyes blazing with anger. "You did nothing for me but poison my soul. Get out of my sight." Joanne's face twisted with rage. "You will regret this. You and Jennifer both." But Brian was done. His heart belonged to Jennifer again. Madam Oluchi, upon hearing of Brian's recovery, knew her game was up. Her empire of secrets began to crumble. Some of the girls in her mansion escaped and reported her to the authorities. The police raided her mansion, uncovering evidence of trafficking, illegal businesses, and dark rituals. She was arrested. As she was dragged away, she locked eyes with Jennifer. "You think you have won? This city will swallow you too. Remember my words." But Jennifer only stood silently, her tears now tears of victory. Months later, Brian proposed to Jennifer under the stars. "You were my savior, Jennifer. My light in darkness. Will you be my wife?" Jennifer's heart overflowed. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Their wedding was grand, but simple in spirit. Filled with genuine love, not show. Jennifer's mother and siblings came from the village, weeping with pride. As she walked down the aisle, Jennifer remembered her days of hunger, of pain, of betrayal. And she knew, every tear had led her here. To love. To freedom. To victory. And so, the girl who once thought she was nothing, became everything. Madam Oluchi, consumed by greed, lost everything. Joanne, blinded by envy, ended with nothing. But Jennifer, the girl of humble beginnings, found love, education, and honor. For in the end, beauty is not the curse. Greed is. Betrayal is. But true love is the only power that survives all storms.